Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Conor McGregor slams nonsense Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz fight. Have you heard about McGregor's recent comments on the upcoming Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz boxing match? Undoubtedly, it seems like he's not too thrilled about the whole thing and has called it a nonsense match. Whereas McGregor and Diaz have quite the history, having each won a fight against the other, but unfortunately, they haven't been able to set up a trilogy yet. Interestingly, Diaz will be making his professional boxing debut at the age of 38, and he's going up against Jake Paul. You know, Jake Paul is known for taking shots at McGregor, but it seems like the Irishman doesn't give him much attention and just called him a donkey earlier this year. In his recent tweets, McGregor seemed to be mocking the upcoming fight. Regardless of that nonsense match, me and Nate will be completing the trilogy, McGregor wrote in a tweet that stayed up after initially deleting his message about watching the fight via Twitter. I'm going to go grab that BMF belt right quick for us to compete for it in the trilogy. McGregor has previously said he believes Diaz will win the bout, claiming that Paul was windy.
No, I fancy him for it, to be honest. I fancy a man's a bit windy. The other cat's a bit windy. Yeah. You know, so, but he's a donkey. The guy's a donkey, yeah, the other cat. Yeah. But what's a donkey has a kick as well. So you just got to be worried of that. So, but I just think, Nate weather and that at home and be careful and be in his face and I just think it's really Nate, you know, really Nate.
In 2016, McGregor versus Diaz's fights were pure gold. I mean, they were so evenly matched, with each of them grabbing a win. It's no wonder they left such a lasting impression on fans. After that, they both couldn't find any exciting fight. But now they both are here, and it's always fireworks when they step into the octagon together. A brawl erupts at Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz press conference. Here, things got heated at the press conference for the Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz boxing match. It turned into an all-out brawl, and one of the members ended up in the hospital. Champ, that's just crazy. However, it all started with the combatants exchanging threats and insults from behind the press table, while Diaz reportedly tossed homophobic remarks at Paul, who's known for his boxing career that started from his YouTube fame. And then Paul made things even more intense by declaring that he'll end Diaz's career at the upcoming fight at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. Later on, Diaz and Paul stood near each other on stage for a photo op with their security personnel and support teams. Now you just feel the tension in the air. Here, the video showed them flexing muscles and posturing, and then, well, all hell broke loose with pushing, shoving, and even punching between their respective camps. Oops! Nate's team has emailed my team trying to claim assault after his team swung first, Paul later posted on social media. The guy who swung first is at the hospital getting stitches. It's not clear who Paul is referencing or whether anyone was hospitalized following the hand-to-hand fight. Hilarious, these fake gangsters acting like this, Paul added. Furthermore, Jake Paul offered Nate Diaz $10 million to fight him in an MMA competition at a later date. That's a huge sum of money and could draw a lot of attention to the fight. And you know that both fighters have a name in the fighting ring. So yeah, a potential MMA showdown between these two could be epic. I wonder if Diaz will take up Paul's offer for that huge payday. It would undoubtedly be a fight to watch, right? Conor McGregor targets BMF belt and Nate Diaz trilogy plan. You won't believe what Conor McGregor has been up to lately. Since his trilogy in July 2021, he hasn't fought because of his leg injury. And you know what's surprising? He withdrew from the USADA testing pool and hasn't re-enrolled yet. Despite that, he's been actively trying to secure his next fight. Here's the exciting part. McGregor recently served as a coach on TF31, opposite Michael Chandler. But now he's eyeing Justin Gaethje as his next opponent. You remember Gaethje, right? He's the one who won the BMF belt at UFC 291 by knocking out Dustin Poirier in the second round. So McGregor's new plan is to take that BMF belt from Gaethje and then move on to his ultimate goal, a trilogy match with none other than Nate Diaz. Certainly, Conor McGregor is not holding back when he calls Nate Diaz's boxing debut against Jake Paul a nonsense match. Even though Diaz is considered the betting underdog for that fight, McGregor seems pretty determined to secure that trilogy match with him. And with McGregor's focus now on facing Justin Gaethje and Diaz, it does leave some uncertainty for Michael Chandler. Chandler was hoping for a bout with McGregor after they coached on TUF, but it looks like those plans might have to be put on hold for now, as McGregor has shifted his attention elsewhere. Moreover, McGregor's recent track record hasn't been the best either. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, with both losses coming from Dustin Poirier. And let's not forget that leg injury he suffered in his last fight, which put him on the sidelines. Before that, he had a quick victory over Donald Cerrone back in January 2020, knocking him out in just 40 seconds. McGregor is hungry for a comeback and eager to prove himself again. The possibility of that trilogy match with Diaz seems to be driving him forward. But it's also worth noting that Gaethje is no pushover, and he's been on a roll with that BMF belt win over Poirier. All in all, the future of these matchups is quite interesting, right? Guys, if you're enjoying the video, we'd love your support. Just hit that subscribe button to motivate us to bring you more exciting content. Makhachev taunts Chandler over Gaethje. Prediction. As always, things are getting intense in the UFC lightweight division. Now, you will be surprised by what's happening with Islam Makhachev, Michael Chandler, and Justin Gaethje. First, Makhachev, the reigning lightweight champion, has been out of action since his thrilling clash with Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 284. That was one heck of a fight, going back and forth for a full 25 minutes, and Makhachev came out on top, retaining his lightweight gold by unanimous decision. Once again, Makhachev is gearing up for his return in October against Charles Oliveira. And guess what? Oliveira previously suffered a second-round loss against Makhachev last year at UFC 280, so this rematch is sure to be one to watch. But wait, it doesn't end there. Justin Gaethje, fresh off his victory over Dustin Poirier at UFC 291, is calling for a title shot, and Michael Chandler, who's had his history with Gaethje, believes that Gaethje has what it takes to beat both Makhachev and Oliveira. Well, that didn't sit well with Makhachev, who mocked Chandler's prediction on social media. Even though Makhachev went a step further, including previous predictions from Chandler in his post, where Chandler didn't seem to have much faith in Makhachev's title run. Ouch! The sparks are in the air! And on the other side, Chandler seems to be having a tough week with Conor McGregor, who also calling out Gaethje. So my fight fans, there is no shortage of drama and exciting fights ahead. Mike Tyson takes Francis Ngannou under his wing. Last weekend, there was an epic showdown between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Man, it's hard to shift our focus to other fights, but there's one in October that's been getting a lot of attention. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. It's going to be a heavyweight clash like no other. You know, some fans were hoping to see Fury take on fellow heavyweight titleist Alexander Usyk for the ultimate showdown in the division. But instead, we're getting a novelty bout that is set to happen in Saudi Arabia and broadcast via pay-per-view. Now let's talk about Ngannou. He's a force to be reckoned with, dominating the heavyweight division in the UFC with his fierce style. And you know what's interesting? He's always dreamt of being a boxer, so this is no joke for him. But here's the thing. He doesn't have experience on the world championship level. But wait, there's a twist in the story. Mike Tyson himself is going to train Ngannou for this fight. Mike Tyson was explosively skilled in the ring during his prime, and his expertise could elevate Ngannou's game. It is no secret I back Ngannou 100% in this face-off of champions, Tyson says via the Daily Mail. He isn't a combat novice, he is a world champion. However, Tyson understands that boxing and mixed martial arts are very different, but he's aiming to make the transition smoother for Ngannou. I'm looking forward to working with Ngannou and supporting his transition from the octagon to the boxing ring, he says. With Tyson in his corner, Ngannou's odds might tighten up a bit, and who knows what surprises he could bring to the match. This fight is shaping up to be one to remember, and his fans can't wait to see how it all unfolds in the ring. All right, guys. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.